Hey crafty cuties, welcome back to Paper Terrace. Today we're going to do some crafting using some of the new dies that I have cut out using my new dies that I was testing out in one of my recent videos. And so I already have them cut out. If you wanted to see more on that and what like sandwich combinations I used to cut these out, I'll link that original video down below. So I cut most of these out on either a white or a neutral cardstock so that I can color them as I wish. So let's get started, put some of this stuff out of our view. And I want to get started with the leaves because I want to dye these. So we'll start with that. That way we can let those dry. So I want to quickly just kind of address something as well. I've been noticing that lately on any videos where I'm using Temu products, I have been getting some somewhat very opinionated comments, and I mean, it's to be expected. I'm not surprised one bit. I do want to say that like I don't condone people stealing designs and replicating them. It's such a tricky place for me to be in because at the same time I'm trying to work with products and supplies that are affordable to me and using places that majority of my viewers shop with so that I can kind of test things out for you guys and whatnot. And so I do feel like I'm in a tricky spot, but I also just want to say, like, if you can hold back, like, I totally understand having big opinions on these things, but if you can try to hold back from leaving those very opinionated comments in my comment section, I would appreciate that. It's just not a good place to go back and forth. It really doesn't matter. Like, I would love to sit down with some of those commenters and have like a couple-hour discussion, because honestly, you might be surprised that like I probably agree with you on many of the points that you are bringing up, but trying to go over back and forth with those opinions in the comment section is just not really a good look, and I'm also not down for that. So with that said, I hate to do that, but let's get started. So I am going to use these kind of, I don't know what you want to call them, but they're kind of like a vintage, scrappy looking kind of leaf. Love the design cut out. I already have the die, already cut them out, so we're going to use them. And I'm going to use some of my Distress Oxide ink. So I'm going to use Spice Marmalade, Peeled Paint, and Mustard Seed. I think I'm getting sick, so apologies if you can hear that in my voice or if I'm clearing my throat a bunch. I'm just going to go ahead and start out like this. I kind of want these to be a variety of colors, and I'm using the back of a scrapbook paper that I'm actually probably going to use. I'm hoping to do like decorated pages with all of these dies that I already cut out. Woo, that was really a bright one, so that's okay. I kind of like, I want these to look like fall leaves, but I like having the color and the paint splatters on them. So let's see, Peeled Paint. I love this color, by the way. Whoops. Yeah, we'll just kind of want these to look very tattered up, if you will. Let's see. I'm deciding if I want to mix the paints around, or the inks around on them more, or let them dry. I sort of feel like this looks pretty cool with the leaf style. I think I want to darken up the edges, so I am going to see, let's see, do I have a really dark brown? I think brown would be the perfect, so I'll use Brush Corduroy. And honestly, I probably should wait for these to dry, but I want to try it out really quick just to make sure I'm happy with the ink amount that I put on these. And then we'll let these dry and come back to it. But, oh yeah, that'll look perfect. So this is just going to deepen up the edges. And then however I use them in my project, I feel like that will give some depth. Okay, so I will let these dry then. We'll come back and ink up the edges. So I'm going to be going back and forth between projects using the all of the dies that I already cut out. So we'll just set that aside. Let's go on to, I'm trying to figure out if I'm actually going to ink up all of these. I feel like yes. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to use some scrapbook paper. Oh, I think I had one out already. Yes. And I'm gonna grab some of my stamp inks. I have so many ideas kind of going through my brain right now, but I'm gonna start out more simple and use some of my oxide inks. And I think I'm gonna start with the cracked pistachio. There's not a whole lot of ink left, but I'm gonna try my best to start at the top and do like an ombre. And I am trying to be careful because there are a lot of intricate little pieces on this one. So I'm just doing like very light circles. And I'll try to go like a third down with this. So as I was kind of trying to figure out what supplies I needed, I was thinking, oh, I could do like sort of a shaker style with this and back it with like a clear plasticky piece. But I think I'm going to try something a little bit different for this one. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, then I think next I will use broken china. I don't know. Let's just go for it. I'm hoping that you can tell there's two different colors. Yeah, I gotta be real careful with this one. There's probably different papers and things that I could use. In different ways that I could do this, but okay. Then I will just want to go in with the darkest color now, I think. Pine needles. So try to get the last part of it the darkest. So I'll use a little bit more pressure. I think that this die would be really pretty. Ooh, if it was cut out, oh, part of me wants to try it now. Using a foiled paper. In fact, I get some foiled like gold and silver papers and holographic from Michaels. That would honestly be so pretty. Part of me wants to try that out for this video. Okay, I am trying to get this definitely darker just so there's an interest in the colors. Okay, I think that's all we'll do. All right, so like I said, I was considering backing this with like a plasticky packaging to have a clear see-through, but I thought it might be fun to do something a little different and use some music paper. I feel like that vibe goes really well with the Christmassy decoration theme. So let's go ahead. Now I'm gonna actually glue this on just a paper here because this is about to get real messy. I'll start with gluing around the edges, and I do want to try my best to get at least any of the I know that there's other better ways you can do this. You can use like a double-sided adhesive paper and die cut it. That's really awesome for intricate dies. Oh, I don't know. You could use, if you have one of those sticker makers, anyone remember those? Oh, those, I loved my sticker maker. I don't have it anymore because I didn't use it a bunch, but so for the sake of this video, I am getting just kind of messy and just trying my, I'm not trying my best, but trying to get majority of the die so that it will glue down, because these teeny little pieces will get caught on turning the page and whatnot. But I know that if this adhesive goes around to the other side, which it definitely is in this case, that it's going to change the ink. So I'm just doing my best to smudge that all around, and then I will go ahead and place it down on the music paper. Just want to make sure I have every little area the best I can. Okay, let's go ahead. Do I want to just use this page that's out? Yeah. And this is such a vintage, actually, you know what? I think I wanted to scan this one. Excuse me. So we'll just go over here. Yep. Now I am going to also let this dry. That way we're not getting the glue that's seeping through on anything else. But honestly, this looks really cool. Okay, I think this is dry enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim around it. And I did actually go ahead and cut out one of these on the holographic paper. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. I just had to see it. Okay. Yeah, this paper is super vintage and very thin. Okay. Yes, I like how that looks. Okay, so like I said, I'm trying to kind of use these in decorating junk journal pages for like a future journal that I'll be making, essentially. So I really like this print since it has kind of the same style. Still debating on what I'm going to do with that, but let me take this one so I can show you. So it cut out really nice, and I just glued it down to this green paper. For this one, I think I'm going to make this into like a little booklet journal card. We'll call it a journal card. So I'm going to fold this. It'll be more of a little booklet, just so I can easily cut that off. In fact, maybe I'll just fold this into thirds. Why not? And then I'll just trim straight across here. And I don't have many of my Christmas decorations out, otherwise I could totally embellish this up. Okay, I spoke too soon. I actually did find a little bundle of some of my Christmas decorations. So I'm gonna take, this was also from the paper pad that I'm using, and I'm just going to punch a hole here. And I think I'm going to actually use, I have this gold thread. I don't usually pair gold and silver together, but I think it might look pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a little piece of this, like that. Move that back out of my way. And it's hard to see, but I'm just kind of doubling this up. And then I'm going to put it through here. And I'll tie this. And I'll do a double knot. There. I have quite a few to get through, so I feel like I shouldn't spend too much time on this. So I'm just going to make a quick little cluster down here, and I think we'll call this one good. In fact, I wasn't even planning on doing the holograph one anyways, but how could I stop myself? So I'm going to add a little bit of glue on here. Honestly, I think this looks pretty, it would look cute on its own in a journal. Super cute. But let's see, I'll go like this, and kind of want that to go off the page just a little bit. And hopefully it's not too loud. It's the weekend, so. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I think this one I'm gonna call good. And then it just opens up. So I'll probably eventually put this on like a journal page, but let's set that to the side. This one now, I'm deciding if I want to keep, I really like adding like something, but at the same time, ooh, this one looks kind of cute. Just, oh, I have an idea. Yeah, I'm gonna go simple with this one. And I'm gonna have this be like a little side pocket. Yes, so we'll go like this. And I will just glue 3 of the sides. This could look really cute if it was sewn on actually as well. And I'm just going to put this right here, centered closer to the bottom. And then this will just get glued straight down. Well, why straight down when you can have the option to have a pocket for everything? Like that. And we'll just kind of center that as well. And just to remember that this is a pocket, I'm taking a guest check, putting a little Christmas sticker, and then I think I'm just gonna fold this like in half so that it will fit in that pocket good. Like that. Okay. I'm gonna open this up, and just to kind of match the vibe of the retro ornaments, I have this stencil, and I'm going to just use this at the tops here, just kind of lightly. I've had this stencil for a while. It's a fun one for Christmas journals. I think I got it, I'm pretty sure I got it from Amazon. Okay, just to give the illusion that you have some hanging ornaments all the way across, and I'll just repeat that all the way down. Then I want to get started on another that is going to need to dry a bit, so we are almost finished with this one. And just a couple more. I'll go like this just so they're a little bit of a different height. And I am getting ink all over my desk, but it washes off. Okay. Super cute. Very happy with this. So, and this one, again, I'll probably have to attach this to something, or I'll just leave it like this because it could go in one of my Christmas journals when it gets to that time. But let's head on over to the next one, and I am going to do something with these fun trees. And these were 3 separate dies. I'll show you. So yeah, it's a trio of dies. So now I know that I wanted to, I'm just going to take some scrap paper, and I have this right here, a stencil with like some little dots. Now if you don't have, if you want to do something similar and you don't have a stencil like this, you can honestly splatter paint to get the same illusion, as you're going to see what I'm doing. I'm going to grab my texture paste. Let's see, I'm going to use this one. I got this from Amazon, modeling paste. It's a pretty thick one. I wouldn't be surprised if it's dried out, but it's not, and I've had this for a while. Then I'm going to just take, well, we'll just use this right here. And I'm just going to place this over the tree. And I just want to give it the illusion that it has some snowdrops. And I like that this stencil is going to give it some texture as well. But again, you could use like white paint and get a similar look. Let's see, I don't want it to be perfect necessarily, so let's see. And that looks good. Okay, well, let's see. I think it's gonna look good. I'm feeling like I think I might need to add some extra texture to, it's a little too perfect looking. So let's go ahead and just take some of extra and really get those edges. I think that is, yeah, like that. And we'll just get a little bit messier like on one side. I think so. Okay, I'm gonna put that over there to dry. And I'll repeat that with the other two. Okay, these are dry enough. My hands are destroyed now. I'm taking some scrapbook paper that has some trees. I don't want this one to be super Christmassy, maybe just wintry. And I think, so I already have this like folded as a journal page. I'm actually, just while we're at it, I'm going to glue this into the inside pages just to kill two birds with one glue stone. Never, don't worry about it. Okay. There. Then I'm thinking that I want to make a little pocket. I don't want to cover up a lot of this print, so I want to do like a lace pocket, probably right about there. I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and just sew around. I'm going to keep this a little cluster pretty simple, and I will take some cheesecloth though. Just a little piece of it. Ooh, I could add ink to it if I wanted, couldn't I? Let's just add a little bit of peeled paint. I'm just gonna spray this right behind here. Sometimes these don't want to spray. Oh, there we go. All right, then I'm just gonna take this and kind of pull it apart just to have those ragged little edges. This might be too thick. Let's see. I'm gonna put the little cluster of trees, I think, over here on this side. And I think I'm just gonna glue them down. I don't really want the glue to go through the lace, so maybe I should actually also take some scrap paper. Let's see if I can make this happen. Just so majority of the glue will be on this paper, but I'll pretend like I meant to do it by ripping these edges and adding a little bit more texture. So I'm gonna put this down, put some glue for the cheesecloth. Place that down like that. Then take my little trees and just glue like the bottom half down so that the top is kind of floating. I think that'll be good. I'm trying to see if I think this is too many greens. I think it'll be okay once I, oh boy, cats are fighting outside. I don't know if you guys heard that. Okay, I am getting this quite messy, but that's okay. It'll dry. And I'm just gonna kind of place these down like that. I think the white definitely helps them stand out as individual trees. Just kind of like this. And then I'll just glue this down. I guess honestly, I'm still getting glue. You know what? I could also, I'm gonna not put so much glue on here. I'm gonna put this on the edge, and then I'll take this back to the sewing machine and sew around it. I'll just do that at the end though. I'm gonna take just a little journaling card just to kind of show you that it's a, oh, I do wanna make sure this is gonna be okay. Yeah, just to put something in the pocket. And I think I'll finish it off with some word stickers. Oh, let's see, does anything fit? Good things come in small packages. Spring is in the air. No, I'll have my peeps call your peeps. Okay, this is like Eastery. Do I have anything that's not Eastery? I may have to, oh, here's some, but I like the greens. However, we already have a lot of greens, and so maybe this will be better. fall in love with as many things as possible. I kind of like that. Believe in yourself. It's always... Okay, we're gonna do this one right here. Oh, actually. Oh, two different ones. Okay. And I'm just gonna put this right over the top. It says creativity takes courage, everything has beauty. So we'll just go like this. And I'm gonna just go ahead and sew this edge right here. There we go. Love this one. Just to finish off the inside of this one as well, just because I can't help it. I'm just gonna take this leaf stencil with whatever ink I have on there. Just do a light stencil design like that. And over here as well. This stencil came from the same haul of the die cuts, the dies, not die cuts. There we go. Okay. Super fun. Okay, we have quite a few to get through. So I have my journal page base here, just a kind of a neutral reddy kind of color. I want this mushroom as a background. Right now we're working on the embossed piece here. So I'm just gonna use this paper as my guide for how much I need to cut it down. Let's start with that. Could use my paper trimmer, but we'll just use scissors for today. Let's see. I'm thinking as I'm going, what do I want to do for this page? Oh, this is fun. Yes. So if I'm going to use this, it's going to kind of cover this up. We could do something simple actually, which that's not a bad idea. And just turn this into a tag. Yes. So I'm going to come over here to use this as kind of a template for the tag shape. Yeah, I think we'll just do this. I'm just going to cut this out. Trying to debate if I want to glue this down to the tag, because then I would have a flat paper surface, which might make it better or easier if I wanted to, like if any journaling wanted to get done on it, because otherwise you have kind of a bumpy surface, which can be fun to add photos and things, but I think I will go ahead and just glue it down to this actual tag. And I'm just gonna add glue all over it. In fact, let's take it to the next level. And I'm gonna sew all the way around the edges of this tag. Yeah, that's what we will do next. And actually I'll punch the hole here. All right, I'm gonna take this to the sewing machine and just sew around the edges. Okay, I think I'm just gonna use my brown brush corduroy ink, and then I'm going to go around the edges, the darkest. And then in a minute, you're gonna see this design pop. Okay, so then I'm gonna take the rest of the ink and I'm just gonna lightly, kind of in circular motions, go over the top of it. And I'm gonna do that all the way down. This one would be really fun to do with different colors as well, but this is one of my new favorite embossing folders. It has such a deep imprint, and I mean, such a darling little design. I love it so much. Okay, so now I have to decide. I think I'll put like some trims through the top of it. Let me just see what I have here. I'm gonna grab I will do, ooh, this will be a fun one. It's like some leaves and some like natural looking trim. Let's get that off. Okay, so this is a pretty thick trim, but I'll just cut that much. And we'll just go ahead and hopefully I can fit this through this hole. Ooh, I could also add an eyelet to the hole, but let's just keep it. All right, I don't want to break this, so I'm just going to pull that through a little bit and try my best to tighten it, but not too tight. We'll just, I think that will be good right there. Yes, that looks super cute. Now I have to decide how I want to add it to my journal page, because I want to do that. I think I'm going to take vellum right here and just cut this out and make a little kind of clear pocket. Okay, I realized that it's kind of silly to cover up this page because I'm just covering it all up. So I'm gonna fold it the opposite way and put it on the white page. And I'm actually just going to add a little half circle maybe up here. I'm not trying to focus too much on the page decorating portion of this project. Mostly I'm trying to focus on the die cut, but it's hard to hold back because I just want to go, go, go. Okay, I'm just gonna glue this on, leaving this side open. Okay, there we go. And this looks super cute in the pocket. I was thinking of adding like a little, maybe I will, a little label. So this was just from my scrapbook paper pad. So I'll just trim it down a little bit. Whoops. There we go. And then just to add a little something extra. Okay, we have a couple more die cuts to work with, but this is honestly so fun because it's not something that I typically do. Okay. Love that, because now we have the look of the embossing, but we could label something if we wanted. There's space to write on the back, and it goes along with the theme nicely. So there's that one. I'm not going to use all of these leaves, but I am going to do something similar to a layout that I did in my creative journal. So I'm going to use this as my background, a really fun leafy background. I'm even keeping this on the inside, which kind of looks cool. I'm going to take a book page, and I think I'm just, I don't have a plan. I'm just going to go ahead, rip this down a little bit. Just around the edges. My dog is going crazy. There must be a cat in our yard. Okay, because I don't want to cover up this full page, but I think this page is perfect though, because what I can do is we'll probably create a little pocket out of it. When in doubt, pocket it out. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and just like cluster these up. Oh, that's right, I want to go ahead also, why do I keep saying go ahead? And I'm gonna add dark brown ink to the edges because that's going to help them stand out a little bit more. And I'm gonna choose 3 of these leaves, I think. Like that. Wow. Do you guys have a dog that barks at all the little neighbor kids and cats? In fact, I think our neighbor girl is like playing with him, screaming at him, I guess. Okay, so we have those 2. I want to use, I'm trying to use like 3 different color. Let's see, I think that one's good. They're not really 3 different colors, but they all are varied a little bit. Okay. And you could do so many fun things with these leaves too. Like I'm already kind of getting some ideas. Okay, we're going to cut a little piece of cheesecloth. I just like this for a cluster. I think I'm going to keep this white, but it would be fun to dye, kind of like I did in that tree one. And I'm just going to go ahead, glue this down. So I'll just put a little glue just to kind of hold the cheesecloth. And on camera, maybe it looks like the white is blending into the page, but in person you can see the texture. And so let's go ahead and start with the biggest leaf, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. Just kind of smear that around like that. Oh, I'm almost thinking like some gold thread would be nice. Should I? Yeah, let's grab some. My hands are a mess from all of the different things. I'm just gonna kind of crumble this up, if you will. I don't want it all over the page, but I'll try to glue it down. I just realized that some of these pieces didn't pop out when I die cut it, but that's okay. So I'm going to try to use this glue just to hold this in place. Yeah, that'll be good. And then last one. Just kind of like that. I think that looks good. Okay. I really like the word stickers on these like clusters, but actually I'm going to pull some of that cheesecloth out. Just kind of stretch it out. And same with over here, just stretch it out a little bit more. I think that's good. Then I'll take my ink and just go around. Ooh, let's take that stencil right here, the leaf stencil, and go like that, just a little bit. Don't want to go too wild. And then I'll finish inking the edges. Just kind of messily. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, then for this one, I think I'll just do top loading pocket or a side pocket. Maybe a side pocket actually. So I'm just gluing along the edges here. And again, this would look great sewn down to the page. But for this, I'll just go like that. Let me grab a tag. Ooh, I have an idea actually. For this tag, I think I'm going to, see, it's just hard for me to stop. Like, it's hard. I'm going to stencil. I'm sorry, I keep getting out of frame. It's like my tripod slowly falls down. Okay, like that. Love that. Then I'm thinking, oh yes, I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to glue this one a little bit more carefully so that it doesn't get glue all over the inside pocket. So I'm really just trying to get it on the larger parts, but I also don't want it to catch on the paper. I love that actually. So now we have two different ideas for these die cuts. Okay, and then we'll just have this peeking out of, that was a side pocket, right? Yep. just like that. Love this one. All right, let's go on to the next. I think we have 2 more. So we're going to take this one right here. It's like a little wintry scene. I want to spray this one. I think in the future, maybe I would die cut it just with a darker color, but the ink looks fun too. I'm using Stormy Sky. And oops, I kind of want this color. I could have smushed the ink as well, but I'm going to try to make this one a little bit darker and have it on a lighter background. We're running out of ink here. My inks are all pretty old, so. Well, since that's running out, let's try 4 different colors. No, that won't work. Oh, perfect. Actually, this will be great, I think. Iced spruce. Okay, I think that's good. So I'm going to use the actual die just to give me a size reference. And I think I'm gonna make like a little shaker for this one. So we're gonna take, this is like a laminating pouch. Does it actually open? Is it 2 layers? I know it is. Well, we'll figure that out in a minute. I'm going to take this and I think I'm going to cut around it just a little bit bigger than it is because, yeah, I need a little bit of extra room to work with, and we can always trim it later. Sorry for the weird angle. And I'm actually out of foam tape, which I probably would prefer to use for this, but I know that many of you probably don't have foam tape, so we're just gonna make it work with what we have. Then I'm thinking I will take a second paper for the back. I'll just use like this kind of icy blue. And I will also cut this just about that same size. You know what? I'm gonna go a little taller. Well, that's a lot taller. That's okay. I'm thinking maybe I'll have it be like a flip up. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna just go ahead and this is 2 pieces. Yep. So I think the easiest way to make this into a little pouch, so we have 2 plastic pieces. I'm going to go to my sewing machine and just sew around 3 of the edges. We're gonna fill our little pouch with some sequins. Since I didn't have foam tape, this can't be 2-dimensional. The foam tape would have definitely been nice to allow us to fill this a little bit more, but that's okay. We gotta work with what we have. The sewing machine definitely helps with attaching plastic to plastic, but if I didn't have a sewing machine, I would honestly probably just make it work with double-sided tape. I'm going to use some of my smaller sequins, and I do want to fill this up quite a bit because the opening part is going to be in the center here. So honestly, now that I think about that, maybe it's good to, I'm going to fill the bottom just a little bit, and then I'm going to sew across. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute here. Let me see where that is. Right around here. So I'm gonna just sew across right now. We're gonna have 2 different pouches. I'm gonna sew across just like that. Okay, not straight, but that's okay. And yeah, you're gonna see the sewing mark, but I'm totally fine with that. Now we'll fill the rest of our pouch. And I'm just going to use some of my clears. I have these teeny little hearts and stars. I think I'll use some silvery glitter ones. Oops. Trying to make sure they're at least all flat. And just a lot of the clear ones that I have. Okay. I love making shakers, and it's not something that I typically do for my journals, but it is a fun idea. Okay. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and I think just sew the top of our pouch. Yeah, I don't want it to be too thick, so I'm going to try to flatten this out, and then I'm gonna sew it just that way so that I think a lot of these bigger ones will kind of stay up at the top, if that makes sense. We have our sewn pouch. Now remember, this is a junk journal. This is going into a junk journal. I'm not worried about the threads showing. I'm not worried about any of that. I like that style, but of course you can trim yours if you'd like. So now I'm debating if I want to also sew it to our paper. What I do know is I want this to be like a little flippy piece. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fold this. Looks like I didn't cut it super straight, so I will fix that. And I do know that I'm going to place it on top of this Christmassy fabric. If it's just gonna flip, then actually I can leave just a little bit of the paper. In fact, I might cover this later with something a little bit prettier. Okay. I think it's time to grab our little topper, which I will call it a topper. And let's see. Yes, that is super cute. Now there is extra plastic, a little frame, you know, around it, but I like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just sew my whole die cut all the way around the edges. In fact, I think I'll just sew it down to this paper. Actually, before I get started with sewing, since there are so many little pieces that will not get sewn down, I am going to actually add glue, and these will get glued at least down somewhat to the plastic topper. So I'm gonna just do my best. There's gonna be a glare, but I went ahead actually and I sewed this down to the white side because I felt like it showed the design a lot better. It's kind of hard to show on camera, but super fun. And I'm just gonna go ahead and glue this flap down on top of our page. Like that. And then you'll have the fun shaker, but you can still use the page by flipping it up like that. All right, I think we just have one more to go. For the last one, we are going to be taking this wreath and making a cute little embellishment that I think I'm just going to put on the center of this vellum like treat bag. So let's go ahead and do our best to color each piece. Now this is where you can totally die cut straight onto the colors that you want. But for something like this, I kind of prefer to do it this way because otherwise you're doing so much die cutting for each like individual little piece. I mean, of course, unless you're doing like a bunch of them in green and a bunch in, you know, one other color, but I always like the way that ink looks. So I don't mind doing this. I'm just gonna start out with the browns. And then I'm really just going to grab the pieces I want and sort of like piece it together. I'm kind of curious, I can't remember if there was like an image to show like what they suggest that you make it look like. But either way, I'll just do what I think will look good. I think my kid just got home. We have a bow. I think off camera, I'm gonna go ahead and just color a bunch of these up since you see how I am doing that. Okay, this is a big inky mess, but I think I got everything inked up that I'm going to use. So we're gonna just start kind of piecing this together, and this is gonna get messy, so I'll just use this as a little backdrop, not a backdrop, but just a place to glue everything down. And I used inks on all of these. I kind of wanted to go for more of a fall feel. I know I want to put this little bow in the center, or maybe off to this side a little bit. Yeah, we'll go like that. And I think I'm just gonna start gluing some of the pieces like up the branches. And these are really delicate little pieces, but I think once we got it all glued down, that placing it on something as like a base, it'll be totally fine. So this is going to take me a bit, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue this, just kind of piecing the little bits and pieces up the wreath, and then I'll show you how I'm going to finish it off. And I'll just like tuck pieces under and over as I go. This is just a little side note. I have a bunch of extra little pieces, some that I inked up and some not. And I'm actually just going to put them in a little vellum envelope. Oops. And I will include them in this journal whenever I finish the journal that will go along with this. And that way the recipient, if they want to add more or play around with them on, you know, a different page in the journal, it'll kind of all coordinate. Now, this did get a little bit glued down, but I'm pulling it up before it's completely dried. So there we go. I just kind of went up the two sides and left the top blank. I like that look, but it would be really cute to go all the way around as well. So now let's actually just use this as our journal page. I'm gonna go ahead and just fold that. Oh, this is a little uneven, but that's okay. We'll figure that out. And just kind of even this out right here. Okay. Ooh, that would be cute on the flap of a envelope too. It is kind of dainty, so I don't know. Oh, but what we could do is, yeah, we could add this here. So I'm actually just going to take some double-sided tape, since this is vellum. Go like that, go like this. And then kind of line this up like that. Yeah, I wasn't even planning on making this a envelope, but I think that's what's happening here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue the envelope shut. Very simple little envelope. And then I'll probably just glue this on top of like one of the journal pages. And that's not completely straight, but that's gonna be okay. It's the inside of an envelope. There, like that. And for the rest of this, I think I'm also going to back it with some cheesecloth, but I want this to be a little bit more flat, if that even makes sense. So let me get like a single piece of this. I'm just gonna pull this cheesecloth apart, do a really thin piece of it. And I'm just going to let the glue from the wreath hold it down. I think that'll be fine. So here's another tricky part, kind of, is getting the glue all over, and I'm just gonna use a scrap paper again to get glue all over. And as I mentioned earlier, I know that there are many other ways to do this, but I'm just using what I have. So I'm just gonna kind of paint glue all over the back of the wreath. We have a very gluey mess here. I'm just gonna go ahead and place that down. And then just let that glue seep through. I'm gonna place something heavy on it and just really let it dry. let's take a look at all of the lovely things we made using with our die cuts and embossed papers. So we'll just start with the one that we just finished. It's a really pretty wreath. I don't know if I love the cheesecloth behind it, but you can see how much fun you can have with something like that, with all the tiny little pieces. This might be one of my favorites. They're simple leaves, but I think you could use it in so many different themes and projects. We have our shaker. Shakers are always fun and interactive, but especially this wintry scene. And I feel like you could use this same wintry scene in something similar to the first two that we made. So even just backed with some paper, they would be really pretty. Love this one right here. Made our little side pocket with this one. Our embossed tag. And, oh, I also love the trees a lot. And again, you could use these for different seasons and themes and colors. Yeah. So that was a really fun video to film for you guys. I hope that you guys got lots of ideas. Again, I'll have any links below for you that I can. And I hope that you guys have such a lovely day. I'll see you soon. Bye.